So welcome everybody to this 8-day Ignite the Fire challenge. As a little bit of an introduction, what I'm doing here and why I'm doing it. I was gifted these 8 pillars of spiritual wellness several years ago. It came to me almost in a dream. I was almost asleep, laying in bed, and I just got this little whisper in my ear, and it was just like, you have to write this down. And I was like, I don't know what I'm writing down, but okay. So I started writing it down, and what was given to me, what I wrote down was these 8 foundational pillars that ended up being, over the past 10 years, the foundation from which I built my life on. I was coming out of a dark night of the soul, a really bad place in my life. And I just needed something from which to start over from. And these pillars really helped me to do that. And so I feel that it's really important now to share that with everybody else out there. I am working on creating another book out of these pillars. And I wanted to introduce them here as a means of just kind of getting you going and getting you excited about what's to come from all of this. So I would like to start off today with just a little bit of grounding, do a quick little invocation, and just welcome everybody in, whether you're watching this live or you're watching it when the recording. It's going to be available on the Mary Louise Healing Facebook page, as well as my YouTube channel. So just invite everybody to just take a moment here to just close our eyes and really focus on getting ourselves centered, getting ourselves grounded, open, ready to receive what's coming for us in the next 8 days. We breathe in, we want to breathe in all of the positive, yummy goodness that surrounds us every day, that maybe sometimes we just get a little bit distracted by the day-to-day life. And maybe we just forget that it is out there, and that we are constantly being guided and watched over, protected by spirit, universe, God, whatever you want to call it. We know that we have universal guidance constantly pushing for the highest good of us all. So I just want us to sit with that energy for just a minute, remembering that we have this infinite love that resides in us, that resides around us, and it's always here to love us and support us. Just bring that positive love and light energy in. And when we breathe out, just breathe out anything that maybe you're holding on to today that you're ready to just let go of. Make more capacity within yourself for receiving this divine guidance and offerings. Deep breath in, bringing in our intentions today for learning, for awareness, for just something positive and bright in our day, to go toward our highest good, to help guide us on our path, to just bring us that little spark of joy that sits within us, that sometimes we just get a little bit distracted in the day-to-day life that we can't see it. Bring that in, know that it's there. We begin our first pillar today, and we start to ignite that fire that's within us. Deep breath in. When you feel that is complete, you can open your eyes back up and join me here again. So let's talk about pillar 1. It is rise up, take a stand, and walk your truth. What that means for me is being fully and wholly connected to who you are. and a living an authentic life that isn't influenced by outside sources, fully, completely coming from a place of heart where we know that what we're doing is for not only our highest good, but the highest good of all of those around us. And so when we come from that place of pure love, then we're not as affected by the other things around us. We can walk in our truth. We can be our authentic self, and we don't have to pretend and wear these masks, these social masks that we tend to do in order to feel like we fit in or to feel validated by those around us. Because when we're living truly from our heart, none of that's going to matter. And if all of us did it, we'd quit judging each other for what they're doing or what they're not doing. So first thing I want to invite you to do is to think about what is your truth. And is your truth coming from your heart, from a deep inner knowing, or does it come from what tradition dictates? I know for myself, I grew up in a very strict Southern Baptist home, and my truth was constantly dictated by what my parents thought to be true, by what the church thought to be true. And I was constantly confused as a child. And I was constantly what my parents would call argumentative as a child, because I didn't understand, because it was almost like I had this bipolar conversation happening around me all the time. It was these outside things were telling me one thing, but my inner knowing, my heart was telling me something else. And I was like, but they don't match up. And I didn't know how to reconcile that as a child. And of course, what we do is we look toward our parents for guidance, for offering of, showing us the ways of the world. And I tried really hard, but it never quite clicked. I can remember times, even sitting in church and sitting in the pew and hearing the preacher say something and just thinking to myself, that's not right. But how did I know? At such a young age, how did I know that wasn't right? Because I felt it in here. I feel, honestly, all of us, we have our direct connection to the divine, to source, to God. And I feel like everybody has that opportunity, but it's at what point do we listen to what tradition dictates? We listen to what stories have been handed down and passed down over the years, that we have to reconcile what we know to be the truth in between those things. So if you think about those people who have been called way showers, or they've been called somebody who's made a mark on society, what did they do different than what you and I are doing? Well, they found their truth and they spoke it, and they spoke it very loud for everybody to hear. And it's important for us to embrace that kind of thought system, I guess, because we could be told all our lives one thing, but is that really the truth of it? Or is that just a story that's been handed down? So it's really important to look inside of us and feel in here where that's coming from and what we know to be true. And trust me, I get it as much as anybody. When we speak that truth, sometimes it's very uncomfortable because it goes against what everybody else around you is saying. But then you question, well, why are they saying what they're saying? Are they saying because that's just what they've been told, or are they saying because that's what they feel? So getting over that hump of stigma, that hump of feeling judged or feeling rejected because somebody doesn't agree with you, all of that is really important. And here in just a little bit, we're going to do a guided journey meditation. And that's part of what we're going to be clearing out, is all of that that stuff that can cloud you of what you're feeling in your heart, and your ability to speak your truth, but always speak it with love, so that it can come across to others I never want to come across as egotistical or as somebody who knows it all, obviously. But I do have a different way of thinking. And so my challenge to you is to, if you don't feel it, you don't feel it, and that's okay. But I would love for you to also be able to challenge other people as well, because that's how we can progress and evolve, is when we start changing our ways of thinking. Getting stuck in the past and regurgitating old ways and old stories doesn't always serve us. I've been thinking long and hard about this the other day about tradition, and how sometimes we just do things because that's the way it's always been done. That doesn't always work for us, and especially in today's society, there are things that our grandparents and great grandparents did that just don't work for us, and it's okay, because guess what? At some point in their life, or the parents' life before them, that all changed too. And you have to evolve with the time. You can't just keep doing something simply for the fact that it's comfortable and because it's what you know. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, period. So finding our truth is going to help move us through a lot of that. So in that same vein, what holds you back? For me, it was defying my parents. It was defying the church. That was an even bigger one. But if I defied my parents, I defied the church. So that, for many, many years, is what held me back from speaking my truth and being able to even have conversations with people about what I was feeling versus what I had been told through tradition. So I invite you to sit with that. What holds you back? And why does it hold you back? Is it fear? Is it the idea of rejection? What is it? And why do we want to hold on to that? Why do we want to be held back? I got to a point in my life where I felt like, when I was kind of coming to the end of my dark night of the soul, and I felt like if I didn't speak my truth, my soul was going to die. I felt this inner being within me just ready to rage and ready to scream out what I needed to say. But my traditional upbringing of being, the what do you ever want to call that? The girl who doesn't get to speak out about, and tell her truth, because if she tells her truth, she's going to be reprimanded for it. I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know how to unleash that inner voice and let it out. And it took a lot of learning. And my hope for all of you is that through my example and my struggle, you can come out and be able to speak your truth at no matter the cost, because ultimately that it's to the detriment of your soul if you're not speaking up about who you are and what you need to be doing in this life. So what it took for me was I had to go through some icky, gross stuff to get to that point. And the more that those of us who have had to go through the darkness, the more that we speak about it and we educate others about it, the hope is that the less that you'll have to go through all of that in order to be able to find your voice. And finding your voice doesn't mean just lashing out at all of those around you. What it means is finding a true place of love where you can speak about what it is that's holding you back, but speak about it in such a way that those around you can receive it. Because if you think about somebody that's come after you in a very angry tone, or they're defensive, or they're just in a place of fear or anger or hurt, you're not going to receive that. You're going to reciprocate that energy, and then nobody wins. So it's super important for us to be able to go dig deep down inside and figure out what it is that is truly the reason that we're being held back, and speak about that in a way that is beneficial to everybody around us. I'll give you an example of that. A few months back, I woke up just in a bad mood. And I don't wake up in a bad mood much anymore, ever. And it was very foreign to me, but it was familiar because I used to wake up that way all the time. I used to not be able to vocalize my truth. And so I was just always angry about something, is holding all of that energy within me. Fast forward to a couple of months ago, when I woke up in that angry mood, I was like, okay, I know something, I'm holding back on something. What am I holding back on, and why am I holding back on it? So I had this whole dialogue with myself. I was in a place finally where I was able to do that. I wasn't just lashing out at those people around me and pointing fingers and blaming people for my bad mood. I went inside and I said, okay, what's making me angry? And what came up for me was I literally was not speaking my truth with this other person in my life. And so I'm having this inner dialogue, and I said, okay, why aren't you speaking up for yourself? And the inner child says, well, because if I do, I'm going to be rejected. Okay, so if you're rejected by this person, do you really want that kind of person in your life if they're not accepting you for you, who you are, as you are? Well, no, not really. Okay, then isn't it important to speak up and find out if this person wants to be a part of your life? Yeah, I guess so. So there's this inner dialogue happening, right? And as I'm talking myself down, I'm formulating words of love in order to be able to speak to this person and say what is on my mind and how I'm feeling, without coming out and just lashing out at them. So by the end of it all, I was able to say to this person, hey, this is what I need out of this relationship. And the person said, okay, but I can't give you that out of this. And so the relationship ended. But I was okay with that because I was able to finally use my voice in a very loving and kind way to let them know who I am really truly on the inside. And ultimately, at the end of the day, if anybody else around me can't find it in their space to accept who I am in here, I don't want them in my life. And old habits are, there's this program within us that says that, well, no matter who is in your life, if somebody's in your life, you have to do whatever you got to do to please them to make sure that they stay in your life. And I realized, I'm like, oh, that is such a backwards way of doing things, because we exhaust ourselves constantly trying to please somebody else. And meanwhile, our needs aren't being met at all. So you come to this place of realization as you go through and do these foundational pillars of self-worth, of self-awareness, and knowing that when somebody is in your life because they want to be, not because you force them to be, or not because you pretend to be something else, everything works out so much easier. Like, why weren't we taught this as a young children? Like, what? So, but I think that kind of comes with being an empath, being somebody that's sensitive to the energy around you. If somebody else feels sad or upset, I feel sad or upset because I'm empathic to their emotions. But it's important, and this is another pillar of foundational, wellness, is being sure that you know what is your energy and what is somebody else's. Because if you're constantly feeding off of everybody around you, that doesn't do anybody any good. It's important to recognize, okay, you feel bad, I feel bad because you do, but I'm not going to accept that because it's not mine, and it's not mine to change. It's not mine to do anything with. There comes lessons in that pain for that other person. And if we take that pain away, we're going to take that lesson away. So it's important for us to be more observers in our life than it is to be doers. constant doers, which is also contradictory to everything we've ever been taught, is that we're supposed to help everybody all around us. And I'm not saying don't go help people. What I'm saying is, if somebody comes to me and they says, hey, I really need your help in this, then okay, I'm gonna ask for what is your highest good in here, and I'll do it for you, as long as I know that there are healthy boundaries there, and that I'm not accepting responsibility for whatever it is you're going through. So there is a clear difference between somebody coming and asking for help, creating boundaries, and making sure that you don't interfere with whatever karma that they're dealing with in that moment, versus me just energetically saying, you know what, I'm going to send you good vibes and good love because I don't like that situation you're in. So I'm going to take you out of it. There's a big difference there. And as we go through this, hopefully that will start to make more sense for everybody. So what is a big part of what is holding us back is limiting beliefs. And what a limiting belief is any belief system that limits our ability to expand our consciousness. Examples of that could be that this is a big one for everybody. You have to work hard in order to get money. It's absolutely not true. And it's completely contradictory. I'm going to say a lot of contradictory things today in the next 8 days. Completely contradictory to everything we've ever been taught. Maybe, 3 generations back, our great-great-grandparents, maybe that was true for them, but it's not true for us anymore. There's this thought system that people have that, we have to work until we're 65. We have to have a retirement. We have to have this. We have to have that in order to feel safe and secure, because that's what our grandparents and their parents taught them. And that's really not as true for us anymore these days. Like I'm so in awe of these younger generations coming up, and they're creating jobs out of nothing. Absolutely nothing. And it's fascinating to me. And it's really, really awesome, because they're like, screw that. I'm not going to go sit in a cubicle for 8 hours a day under the fluorescent light and have somebody dictate what I'm supposed to be doing all day, every day. And if you're doing that, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But there are choices, there are options. And so the limiting belief is that we have to be in that confined environment in order to make a good living. Just again, one small example. So I invite you again to, as you're thinking about what is your truth and what holds you back, also think about what the limiting beliefs are that surround that, and how we can find a different pathway to a different truth that maybe will unleash us from that. Because as long as we're holding on to those limiting beliefs, it's like it's chaining us down. It doesn't allow us to expand. It doesn't allow us to grow. And it a lot of times doesn't allow us to speak our truth. The limiting belief that I had that really, really held me back was that and this came from a lot of very deep work. I was actually, I think, in hypnosis at one point when this showed itself to me. But a limiting belief that I had was that if I rejected the church, I had rejected my father, because my father was so attached to the church. And so something I had to overcome and come through was that there really is no connection there. My father was who he was, and regardless of his belief system, he still loved me for who I was. And so I can have my own belief systems and still be connected to his energy and his love. So again, just there are going to be limitless examples of what limiting beliefs are out there. And so the more that we consider them and the more we think about them, the easier it will be to let them go. Because we start feeling into that heart space, we start feeling into what our truth is, and it's easier to release the truths of all of those around us and start just a love revolution of finding our way through the heart versus through the human experience. So, in order to kind of get all of that kind of into one good place and bring it all together, I really would like to do a guided journey to help everybody integrate this information. I know I talk a lot and I have a lot of things to say, but I would like to just pull all of that in and get us grounded and centered and ready to just receive all the information that's coming for the rest of the week as well. So I invite you to just get comfortable, get into a space where you can relax, you can close your eyes. I invite you to take a few deep breaths as we start to call in all of our guides, ascended masters, archangels, all beings of light would like to surround us, guide us and protect us. We move forward on this journey today. And as we move into a more aware future, one where our path is lit up for us, where we can clearly see where it is we're going as we are guided with love. We call in now a pillar of white light coming down from the heavens, cascading down into your crown chakra, down over your physical being, creating a cocoon of white light surrounding you in divine love as it moves through you all the way down to the bottoms of your feet, connecting you, anchoring you into Mother Earth, allowing her high vibrational energy now to move up into your feet, raising your vibration as it moves through you. Being surrounded now 360 degrees, north, south, east, and west, above and below. We sit in this space of pure love and light. To surround ourselves, the higher knowing of Source, bringing in the awareness that we are an extension of Source. We are all connected. Our experiences mingle together to create one cohesive life. And in this space of all knowing, we are connected to our divine truth. We bring that awareness into your heart space. Allow that knowing to reverberate through your entire body. Allow that energy to be pumped into your veins, moving through every cell of your being. Bringing with it higher awareness, higher knowing of what the truth of you really is. We invite you to sit in this truth, to bask in the light that brings it into you. We move energy up into the memory system of the human brain, bringing awareness to all of the events of your life, knowing understanding, aware that as it comes through, you can see now the big picture of how events transpired in your life throughout your timeline, of how they were all interconnected to your highest good. And how the truth of you interwove through all of these experiences. You make your way down your timeline all the way to today, looking back, having the perspective of time, having a deeper awareness of how all of those experiences influenced who you are today. And how knowing forward, you will no longer have to remain attached to the trauma, to the anger, to the sadness, to the fear of these experiences, because you can see now how they all played a role in teaching you lessons in order to bring you to this space today. You can detach from the emotion of those experiences by replacing it with love. Love for the people who played a role. Love for the opportunity to have learned these experiences. Knowing that moving forward, you do not have to repeat these lessons as you detach yourself from the emotional attachment. We ask that you simply observe and hold gratitude and appreciation for how far you've come. We offer you guidance and divine protection as you move forward more clearly in your truth. We offer you love and support as you make your way through all of the clutter that comes with having this human experience. Provide you a platform from which to climb high and stand tall so that you can rise above the chaos as you stand strong and tall in your own truth. Knowing that your interconnectedness to the divine will keep you on a path of clarity. And moving forward, you have this ever abundant, infinite source of love and knowledge from which to tap into. Because we know and understand that through the human experience, from time to time, you will feel lost. You will feel like your path is taking you in circles. But if you understand and have awareness of the knowledge that we are bringing to you today, then you will be able to move forward with much more authenticity and less friction as you stay in the flow of your path. We offer our gratitude for you showing up today as your true authentic self in this space of no judgment, no fear, only love, and then connection to Source. We invite you now to release what holds you back, knowing that you have the highest form of support in your corner. We want to offer gratitude for all of the life experiences that have brought us to where we are today. We want to hold them in love as we release the negative attachments, emotional attachments to these experiences, creating more capacity within ourselves to receive love and to act as a channel and project God's love as we move forward on our path. Knowing that this divinely sourced energy is not only for our highest good, but it's for the highest good of all of those around us as we collectively work to raise the vibration of the planet. We invite you to take a few deep breaths in, integrate that into your system, into your physical existence. And when you feel complete, you can come back to this space. I invite anyone have any comments, any questions to put those in the chat. I know we're live on Facebook. I do not have Facebook pulled up in front of me, but I will get to your questions if you have any there. I will come back to that. Let us know how you're feeling. Let us know how that experience was for you. And if you found your truth and what that was. Would love to know what that is so that I can fully support you through that. And speaking of which, we have a little bit of homework for today. I would like to invite you to think about something that you've always felt to be true, but never had the courage to speak about it. And follow the breadcrumbs, dig a little deeper. Why didn't you have the courage to speak up about it? And if you could speak up about it now, what would you say? I invite you to journal about that. And maybe if you're feeling brave, come into this safe container on the Facebook page here and tell us what your truth is. I would love to know what that is. You're in a loving, supportive community of plenty of people who would probably love to support you through that as well. So if you feel so called, please feel free to do that. If not, that's okay too. Just journal about it on your own and sit with that, and come back and do this meditation again if you feel like there are things that need to be cleared after you sit with this. So those meditations always get me too. I feel a little bit lightheaded right now. So tomorrow, I invite you to come back. We're going to be doing this at 2 o'clock Central Standard Time tomorrow, and I will have Julie Hughes with me tomorrow helping out. And tomorrow's pillar is surround yourself with light, protect your precious cargo. So we're going to be talking about all things protecting your energy from giving it away too much, from energy vampires, from things that don't serve you, and holding space for only utilizing your energy for the highest good. So I want to say thank you for everybody joining us today, and much love to all of you out there. Look forward to seeing any of your responses again on the Facebook page, or you can even private message me if you want to do that. You don't feel like putting it out there publicly, but you have some questions or something you just want some support on, feel free to do that. Other than that, I will see you guys tomorrow, 2 o'clock Central Standard Time, and hope you have a beautiful day. Much love.